Hey everybody, this is Jay Chido again. First of all, I just want to thank everyone that has been watching my videos and everyone that sent me messages and comments. And I can't explain to you how much it means to me and how happy I am to see the wonderful feedback that I've been getting. But I posted on my Facebook page that I was going to be talking about my first experience down to Mexico. So the reason why I want to do this is I keep seeing the posts of the father and child that drowned on their way trying to come here to find a better life. And I know all of the stuff about the fucking wall and this shit that just makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I don't usually get into political things whatsoever. I'm a convicted felon and I haven't been able to vote for 10 years. So I usually just stay the hell away from it. So when I moved out to Arizona when I was 19 years old, when I moved out there, I brought a friend with me, and we drove my car down that I had just bought, and we made it all the way down without stopping. I think we made it down to Arizona in 19 hours. And then the next day, after we got our rest and everything, we decided that we wanted to go down to Mexico. Well, I had a cell phone, but I had a flip phone that had nothing to it and nothing like we have now. So there was no navigation, no anything. You could make phone calls, and I don't even know if we were even texting at that point. But so anyways, we are kind of stupid and decided that we were going to go just head straight down south and find our way to Rocky Point. And when you're in Phoenix, you don't go straight south to go to Rocky Point. You go straight south to go to Nogales. And we didn't know where the hell we were. We went through Tucson, and we thought we were going south, so we were going in the right direction, but just happened to miss where we needed to be. We should have shot over about 100 miles west, and then been going down, and we would have made it. But and if we would have gone that way, we maybe wouldn't have ended up having this situation. But so anyways, we take off, and he loads up his golf clubs, and we got a couple bags ready to go, and we think that we're going to go get on a resort and go golfing and just have this wonderful time down in Mexico. Well, we cruise through Tucson and just keep going, and we end up getting down to Nogales. And Nogales, if anybody knows Nogales, there's Nogales, Arizona, and there's also Nogales, Mexico, which are significantly different. As we went down and we started going through Nogales, Arizona, nice little town, and then we made our way to the border. And kind of as you cross the border, there's it's okay, and there's gas stations and other things, but again, we still had no idea where we were going. So we went through the border, and we ended up starting to go further into the town. And if you haven't seen a third world country and the places that people live in and the lifestyle that they have, I highly suggest that you look into something like that before you make any kind of judgment on anybody. As we were driving, and I'm looking at the houses, and I'm looking at the 2-year-old kids sitting on the corner selling chiclets, and basically when you're 2 and you can walk, you start working down there, and it's awful. I feel horrible that that's how that life is. But and the houses, it wasn't houses, it was shacks. It was shacks just piled upon shacks and made out of whatever it was that they could find on a dirt ground. And it hurt my heart to see what these people have to live in. But as we get through Nogales and we get out of the town, we're about 20 minutes outside of the town, and we're still not heading in the right direction. But we didn't care. We were 19 years old and figured we'd just fucking find it. Well, unfortunately, after, our 1,700-mile trip from Iowa down to Arizona, my then down to the border, my timing belt decides to go out in my car. Well, I'm on a highway, I guess you could call it, and going probably 55, 60 miles an hour. And there were families and other people on the side of the road that were standing around burn barrels and to keep warm and probably cooking food. And I felt horrible for them. But, as I see this, I wanted my car to keep rolling because I was worried, we were going to, once my car stopped, that we were going to end up losing everything. So we let it roll probably about a mile away from the last burn barrel that we see. And again, that was me passing judgment on these people. Who knows? They may have been more than willing to help us. But, with the lack of knowledge that I had at the time, I was scared and worried about what was going on. And obviously I made some assumptions that maybe I shouldn't have, and maybe I should have, I don't know. But anyways, so we let the car keep rolling, and then we stop and we get out and we're basically waving down anybody that we possibly can. And we finally get a taxi to stop. And, like I said, we're about 20 minutes outside of town. Well, that taxi basically asked us for every bit of our money. I think we had like $120 cash on us at the time, and then had our debit cards. Well, we ended up having to pay, I think, $120 for that cab ride. So we get back and we literally have, no cash in hand. We don't have much on our credit cards or our debit cards at the time. I mean, we were 19 years old. I maybe had a couple $100. So we get back to the border finally, and we come up to the border, and we're talking to them, and I explained what's going on, and I said, what can you do to help me? And they said, well, we can't help you with anything. But there's a McDonald's over there on the American side where you can go and stop and ask people if they'll help you. And I'm like, seriously, that's all you got for me? You told me to go to a parking lot and beg for help, and that's how it is. So we went and we stood in the parking lot at McDonald's, and we're trying to flag everybody down. We're stopping everybody that's driving through the drive-through, asking if anybody can help us. And at one point, this younger Mexican family came through, and there was the dad driving the vehicle, and the mom was in the passenger seat, and they had two kids in the back. And he said, I wish I could help you, but I got to get my family back to Tucson. And, he was pretty much one of our only hopes. Everyone else pretty much told us to fuck off. So, and also at the Border Patrol, which I forgot to say, they pretty much told us that if I didn't get my car out of there by the time the sun went down, by the time I got back to it, I wouldn't have any tires, doors, and absolutely nothing in my vehicle. So we're kind of trying to race the clock to try to get back to our vehicle prior to, not having one. Well, anyways, about 20, 30 minutes, I don't know, maybe an hour later, that gentleman that had came through pulled back, and he had no one else in his vehicle. It was just him. And he came up to us and he said, I feel really bad about the situation that you're in. And what I did was I took my family and I put them on a Greyhound and I sent them back to Tucson. And I want to come help you guys. And you have no idea the relief that was once he came and he said that. Because we were shit out of luck. We didn't have any other options. And he was just the most amazing guy I've ever met in my life. And I feel awful, but until this day, we never got his name. We never got his phone number, and I've never been able to thank him. But when he came back, he brought us back across the border. And, we were 19, so we partied, and he said, you want to get some beer? And he went and he stopped and he bought us a case of beer, and it's funny there. So they take the box and they put a bag inside of it, and then they open it up and they put the bottles back in, and then they drop ice in it and give you a nice little cooler. Well, he came and he dropped the cooler there. I think he bought us both a pack of cigarettes and just said, just relax, and we're going to get this taken care of. And, at the time we had to put all of our faith in him. Well, he brings us to his parents' house, and his parents' house was kind of deep into Nogales. And we come into his parents' house, and it's a nice little place. He had been traveling back and forth across the border and, laying tile for them and trying to make their house better. And it was, he had been working a lot on it. But as we came in, I realized they had no electricity. They were running all of their lights and everything off of a car battery in their living room. And when we walked in, we were still scared shitless. And, I see that these people don't have half of what we do. They don't even have a quarter of what we do. But yet they were so happy and they were so giving. When we came in, they wanted to make sure that we ate. And they had these amazing tamales, and she just loaded our plate full and said, "No, you need to eat. And I felt like I was with my big Italian family back in Des Moines. And that's how Italians are. You got to eat. And, that's how she was. And she wanted to make sure that we were happy and taken care of. Well, somebody that doesn't have much of anything that is still willing to give whatever they can, that's an amazing person. So at this point, I realized that I could have full faith in this man and his family to help us. So he gets his dad and his brother, and they jump in their truck and they follow us, and they grab a chain that they're going to tow our car with. So we're in the car with the guy that helped us at the border, and we're getting followed by the father and the son. And as we're going, we're on a dirt road, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but he knew how to get us back to our car. So we're kind of taking this dirt road out. Well, we got pulled over by the federales at this time. And I've never been so scared in my life at this point. So we get pulled over, we get taken up to the front to their car. They pull us away from the car that we were in. They basically strip search us in front of the car while we have M16s pointed at the back of our heads. Trust me, that's a very scary situation at 19 years old in a foreign country and not knowing what the fuck is going on. But we knew that we had done nothing wrong. We just were white guys in a car with somebody that we shouldn't have been in their eyes. So they ended up going back to the car. They planted cocaine on the front of the car. It was actually in the seat that I was sitting in, which I promise you at this point, there was nothing like that going on, but it appeared. Well, I thankfully can understand quite a bit of Spanish. I can't speak a whole lot, but I understand it. So I was able to kind of understand the conversations that they're having, and they're talking to the guy that's helping us, basically saying, get all the money that you can from these fucking gringos and give it to us and we'll let you go. And he's saying, no, that's not what's going on. I'm trying to help these guys. And we had never made it to an ATM, so we didn't have any cash on us. He ended up actually paying them off. I think he paid them $60 to let us go. But I thought for sure I was going to be dying on that road that night. So anyways, we get out of that, we get away from them, which, M16s on your fucking head is not fun. But anyways, we get back, we get to my car. And when we get to the car, his brother and his dad jump out and they're hooking the chains up and they're telling me, no, we got it. You just relax and we'll help you. And as we're pulling the car, the chain keeps breaking. So they keep jumping out and they're fixing the chain and putting it back on. And I mean, it took us, we were about 20 minutes outside of town, and it probably took us about, an hour and a half to get back. And by the time we got back to the border, we were literally pushing the car through the border. Then we ended up getting the car back across the border. My cell phone's not working at the time. It's picking up the Mexican signal and, just sending me to, I don't know what it was, but I couldn't use my phone whatsoever. So then we get back and we get it pushed across the border. We got it over to a Pep Boys and we ended up leaving with him. He said, you guys aren't going to stay here. I'm going to take you back to Tucson and we'll get you, in a hotel there. Well, he takes us back to Tucson, and he had already sent his kids to one of his family members' house so we could then stay at his house and sleep in his children's bed. Which again, there's not people like this. I was amazed the whole time of how helpful and how generous that he was. So we stayed in the or at their house that night. And by the time the next day, we were able to get a hotel room, and we're waiting on my car to get fixed. And we had completely forgotten to get his phone number or his name or anything. And I hope maybe this video might be able to spread far enough that if he ever sees it, that I could figure out, a way to come and thank him. But the moral of the story is, never judge a book by its cover. Never judge a book by its cover, and don't pass judgment on somebody until you fully understand what it is that they're going through. All this talk of all these criminals and everything wanting to come across the border, which I'm going to go into other stories about Mexico where I was doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing. And I'll explain to you why the criminals probably just want to fucking stay there. But most of the people that are trying to get out of there are trying to get out of there to better themselves and to come here and start a better life for their family and change whatever it was that they were stuck in and start a new life for everybody. And, we're talking about building a fucking wall to keep all these people out. The criminals don't want to come here. Why would they? Don't get me wrong. They transport shit back and forth from Mexico, but they're not coming here for fucking citizenship. The people that are coming here for citizenship, they're coming here because they want to be better. They want to be able to contribute, to us, to this country that they find so much better than what they left from. Why would they want to come here and fuck that up? They're coming here for refuge and freedom from a really shitty, horrible life. And I would do exactly the same. So fuck Trump's wall. Fuck this immigration shit that, what is it? 3 people that can get accepted a day and stuff. Some of those people don't have days. Some of those people don't have hours. So hopefully you like this story. It was scary as hell, but it definitely changed my perspective on things. It definitely made me look at people's lives in a different way and understand, a little bit more about what they're actually going through. And until you can understand that, don't pass judgment on anybody. But anyways, I hope you like my story. Please share it, like it, subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more. I hope this was a little bit brighter story than what I've came out with before. I know it was a fucked up situation, but I can laugh about it now. And again, if this could ever reach the family that helped me, I would love to say thank you. It's at this point, it's been 18 years and I don't know if that could ever happen, but, thanks for watching.